This is the video that goes together with your Venn diagram assignment. So practicing how to handle Venn diagrams. Let's take a look at the instructions. Use a Venn diagram to model the following sets of data. Then answer the questions and calculate the probabilities. Show your final answers as a percent rounded to 1 decimal place. Here is our data. A survey of 80 sophomores at a certain college showed the following. 36 take English, 32 take history, 32 take political science, 16 take both political science and history, 16 take history and English, 14 take political science and English, and 6 students surveyed take all 3. Now in your notes class, I went through basically an error-proof method of filling out a Venn diagram. I think it would be a good idea if you write those steps, because you need to follow those steps. And if you want to write those steps on your card, your 3x5 card for the test, totally fine. Step number 1, when you get these kind of questions with a Venn diagram, label the circles on the outside and write the totals for English, history, political science under the labels. Let's do that. So for our Venn diagram here, we got English, history, and political science. Let's label those. Let's make this circle English. We'll make this circle history. Doesn't matter actually, you can pick whatever circle you want and label it. And let's make the bottom one political science. There's our 3 categories that we are drawing a Venn diagram for. Step number 1 says also, label the circles on the outside and write the totals for each label under the label. So English, we got 36 people who are taking English. History, we've got 32. And poli-sci, political science, we've also got 32. Okay, there's our first step for making a Venn diagram. Second step is label the combined classes on the outside in between the circles. Now, in your notes, I did step 3 next, label the center. So 2 and 3 can be flipped. It makes no difference. Let's just do step 2. Label the combined classes on the outside in between the circles. So here's what you'll do is, you look at the combined classes. Well, 16 take political science and history. So here's our political science and our history circles. Here's their intersection. We'll put that number right here. So that's 16. You put on the outside of the circle. That's what's going to help us fill out the insides of the circle. If you look at your data, you've got 16, okay, take political science and history. 16 take history and English. So history and English. Here's our overlap, or the overlap of those 2. And then 14 take political science and English. So 14 goes here. So temporary numbers class, just like the outside numbers, to help us fill in the inside of the table. Okay, step number 3 says label the center with the group that is included in all 3 circles. So that one, your category is 6 students take all 3. So in our Venn diagram, we're going to label that 6 right here. 6 takes all 3. Alright, step number 4. Label the intersections of the circles. Subtract the center from the number on the outside between the circles. So now we know that 16 take English and history, and of those, 6 of them take all 3. That means there's 10 left over. 16 minus 6 is 10. And the same thing here. 16 take political science and history. Of those, 6 of them take all 3. There's 10 left over. And 14 students take English and political science, and of those, 6 take all 3. That leaves us with 8. Step 4 is done. Step 5, label the main circles. That's the bigger part of the circle. Subtract the intersection numbers from the totals on the outside under each category. So easy enough. We know that 36 students are taking English, and of those we've already counted 10 that take English and history, 6 take all 3, and 8 take English and political science. So 10 plus 6 plus 8 is 24. 36 minus 24 is 12. You can use your calculators, of course, for that class. I just don't have time to show that. All right, history. 32 students are taking history. 10, 10, and 6 are already counted. 10 and 10 is 20. 26 are already counted. That is leaving 6 left over. And political science, 32 taking political science. 10, 8, and 6, those are already counted. 10 and 6 is 16, plus 8 is 24. That is leaving 8 students who are just taking political science. Now our Venn diagram class technically is done, but we've got one more thing we have to do. Add the totals in all the circles to determine how many students are in none of the categories. We haven't accounted for students who didn't answer the survey. They just said, you know what, I'm not taking any of those classes. So over here, we're going to have to total up our circle values and see if it adds up to 80. Because we took a survey with 80, we want to see if all 80 have answered the survey. Let's take our numbers. We got in the English category, we got 12, 10, 6, and 8. 12, 10, 6, and 8. We've got 2 more numbers in the history. We've got the 6 and the 10. And we've got one number still not counted, and that is the 8. So you just go through all your circle sections and write down the numbers. 12, 10, 6, 8, 6, 10, 8. Doesn't matter what order you put them in. Just make sure you get them all written down. When you add those up, class, let's take a look. 8, 16, 22, 30. Okay, there's a 3. We carry the 3, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, well, wait a second. We added up all those totals in the circles. We only got 60. But we know that 80 people took the survey. If we only counted 60 people that answered at least one of those classes, that means 20 people aren't taking any of those classes. So over here in this small circle, this is going to represent the people who are taking none of the classes, and we figured out that is 20. 20 people aren't taking any of those. They're not taking English, history, or political science. I don't know what they're taking, but they're not taking one of those 3 classes. Alright, now our Venn diagram is complete, and we can go through and start to answer the questions. How many students take English, but neither of the other 2 courses? So English makes us happy, but we don't want any other courses. Take a look at our Venn diagram. 12 students are taking English and nothing else. Only English. So that's easy. We got 12. How many students are taking none of the 3 courses? Oh, we already did that work. We found 20 students aren't taking any of the courses. How many take history but neither of the other 2? Well, that's the same as A. A is English and neither of the other 2. C is history but neither of the other 2. Take a look. These students right here, these 6 students, they're taking history only, but they're not taking English or political science. And answer is 6. Taking political science and history, so poli-sci and history, but not English. All right, let's take a look at our Venn diagram. Poli-sci and history. But we don't want to have English. So look, this category right here, these are the students that are taking political science and history, but we can't count these because they're taking English as well. So this category right here tells us how many are taking political science and history. Just 10. And the last one, how many students Do not take political science. Do not take political science. Look at our Venn diagram. Do not take political science. Well, all these students in these categories are taking political science. 8, 8, 6, and 2. These students, 12, 10, and 6, they're not taking political science. But also, class, these are also not taking political science. So this one, this one, this one, and this one. 20, 12, 10, and 6. 20, 12, plus 12, plus 10, plus 6. Let's see that. That's 32, 42, 48. 48 students are not taking political science. When you say something, but do not take something, don't forget we happen to have in this case, sometimes the none will be 0, but in this case got 20 students that for sure are not taking political science because they're not taking any of them. Alright, let's figure out some probabilities. From the 80 students polled, if you select a sophomore student at random, what is the probability? The class, take a look at this. This is telling you we are including all 80 students. That means the bottom of our fraction will always be 80 because that's the total number of students that were actually polled. If you select a sophomore student at random, what's the probability they're taking either history or English? Either history or English. Okay, that means we include all the ones in the English category and all the ones that are in the history category, English or history. So you got 12, 10, 6, 8. That's the ones that are in English. So we got 12, 10, 6, and 8. And then English makes me happy too. So I've got some more over here. These two haven't been accounted for yet. So we got also 6 and 10. Plus 6 plus 10. So if we add those up, I'm guessing we end up with 52. That's what I wrote down. Let's check it. This is 22, 28, 36, 42, 52. Yet 52 students are taking either one of those. That means your probability is going to be 52 over 80. And that's going to be 0.65 or 65%. How many students are taking all 3 classes? I love that question because that one's always easy. It's just the one in the middle. The 6. Only 6 students are taking all 3. So that probability is 6 over 80. That's going to be 0.075. I'll write that in. 0.075, which is 7.5%. And then letter H. How many are not taking English? Not taking English. Let's take a look. Not taking English. Well, all these students in this circle are taking English. So we got a 6, a 10, an 8, and don't forget the 20. These are also not taking English. 6, 10, 8, and 20. 6 plus 10 plus 8 plus 20. Let's add that together. We got 16, 24, 34, 44. And that means our probability of selecting that student at random is 44 over 80. And that's going to be 0.55 or 55%. Let me just make this a little bit neater so you don't get this one wrong. This is 44. So hopefully you've tried these and then checked your answers to see if they match mine. I'll start the next video. We'll do the other question on the other side.